I am Supreme, and today's Astro Oracle investigation will be on Sneha and Philip. Sneha and Philip was an Indian American doctor who was 31 years old, living in New York City, who went missing during her shopping trip and never returned. The following day was the worst day in American history, September 11th, 2001, where the World Trade Center, also known as the Twin Towers, was destroyed. Thousands and thousands upon thousands of lives were lost that day. And Sneha and Philip just may have been one of those lives. Or she was caught up in another incident that had nothing to do with 9/11, and she met with foul play. So today I am going to conduct an Astro Oracle investigation to find out exactly what happened to Sneha and Philip. This reading is a subscriber's request. Shouts out to Cheyenne Owens 89. I appreciate it when my subscribers suggest content. I do put your suggestions on my itinerary. It's just a matter of time that I get around to it. So here is the reading on Sneha and Philip. She was born October the 7th, 1969, to Ann Sue Phillip and Dr. Colchild in Karoli, India. Forgive me if I didn't pronounce that correctly. Now, she went missing September 10th, 2001, and let's talk about what she was doing that day leading up to her disappearance. So her husband went to work. It was her day off. It was Sneha's day off. She did some cleaning around the house. She put on some clothes, and then she went shopping with her husband's credit card. She was cleaning up the house because she was expecting some relatives September 12th to come visit her. So it was confirmed by surveillance footage at these stores that she was shopping at. Once they started doing the investigation, they confirmed surveillance footage. So Sneha was seen alive and well shopping. One of the stores she was shopping at was Century 21, and then she went to some type of shoe store. And they have footage of her in these department stores shopping for clothes. Some people say they saw somebody with her, a woman with her. And some surveillance saw her by herself. But we do know for a fact Sneha Ann Phillip was alive as of 6 p.m. September 10th, 2001. Now, the destruction of the Twin Towers didn't happen until the following morning. But we're here to find out, me and my spirit team, as well as the people who are watching, we're here to find out what happened to Sneha Ann Phillips September 10th. Why didn't she come home September 10th? Because she just might have not been caught up in 9/11. Her death or disappearance just may have had nothing to do with 9/11. It may have everything to do with something else in Sneha's life and energy. She could have been met with foul play. So we're going to find out. Today is October the 14th, 2025. This is a whole 24, 25 years later. Sneha Ann Phillip has never been seen or heard from since September 10th, 2001. Something happened. Let's talk about it. So, in the summer of 2000, Sneha and her newlywed husband, Ron Lieberman, they moved to an upscale apartment in Battery Park City, which was a few blocks away from the World Trade Center in New York City. Now, in the spring of 2001, Sneha's director of residence terminates her contract. A few months later, her next employer, Staten Island's St. Vincent's Medical Center, suspends Sneha's for the summer. Some people said it was St. John's Medical Center, but one video said it was St. John's Medical Center, and one podcast said it was St. Vincent's Medical Center. But it was in Staten Island, and they suspended her for the summer of 2001 for failing to meet with her substance abuse counselor. So now we know Sneha had substance abuse issues. She was an alcoholic, and she may have done a lot of other drugs too, but we do know for a fact she was an alcoholic. September 10th, which was the day she disappeared. She cleaned around the house in preparation for incoming family members on the 12th of September. She goes shopping with her husband's credit card as usual. He knew that she was going shopping with her credit card. And it was confirmed. After they did the investigation trying to find her, they did confirm surveillance footage at these stores that she went shopping at. They seen her alive and well around 6 p.m. footage at these stores shopping. Some folks seen her by herself on camera, and some folks said that they seen her with another female on camera. So on September 10th, when she did not return home, by the time her husband got home from work, he noticed she wasn't there. The cats were not fed like they were supposed to be. So red flag, but he stated that at times she does stay out at one of her relatives' house. Maybe she linked up with her brother or one of her relatives that she spent the night with or went out with. However, she frequently does that. So he didn't think nothing of it. He went to sleep. He woke up the next day in preparation for work, and he noticed that his phone pinged a missing call from a phone line in their apartment building. And only Ron and Sneha has access to that building, to that apartment. So it couldn't have been nobody else but her. But yet she was still not home by the time he woke up for work. So Sneha, it was said she didn't have a cell phone. I saw one podcast, they said she didn't have a cell phone. But Ron had a cell phone. So I don't know. She was a doctor. I don't know what doctor didn't have a cell phone back in 2001. I know cell phones wasn't as popular as they are now, but they said she didn't have a cell phone. So her husband goes to work September 11th, the worst day in American history. He goes to work. He said he had a meeting at Jacoby Medical Center. He sees the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center at work on the news. Of course, everybody that morning was gathered around their televisions all over the world. There were more people in the world that were sitting glued to the television without blinking September 11th, including me and my family. I remember exactly where I was the day I saw the Twin Towers collapse. I'm from New York City. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, but I wasn't in New York the time the Twin Towers collapsed. I had moved out of New York 1996, 97. So I remember where I was though that day, and we all have 9/11 stories. So everybody's panicking. So Ron Lieberman, Sneha's husband, goes home to see if Sneha was at the house. It took him 6 hours to get home through all that traffic. He got home, there was no Sneha. She does have a criminal history. She has a promiscuous sexual history as well. She was bisexual. She had sexual affairs with women. She was an alcoholic. Her and Ron, her husband, were entangled in marital problems. Now, I said they were newlyweds. Don't quote me on how soon, how close to the date that when they were married to when they moved into this place. But I do know they talked about her being freshly married. So I'm assuming she's a newlywed. Newlyweds are people who are freshly married. But her and her husband had problems. She had a court date, September 10th. One podcast I seen, she had a court date on the 11th, and then one said she had a court date September 10th. I watched numerous podcasts, and that's what I do. And I take the common notes that I see from every podcast, what every podcast has in common about this individual. I jot those things down. So her court date was because she had made some false sexual accusations towards her employers, the ones that terminated her. But she didn't make these accusations until after they terminated her. So, of course, the employer was fighting that. Like, they was trying to fight the fact that she made this act. She's just mad because we terminated her. She pled not guilty. So, of course, she had to go to court to fight that. So, that's all the information I have on Sneha. Now, I pulled charts. October 7th, 1969, the sun was in Libra and the moon was in Leo. So when you put the Leo moon in Libra's house, because time is the sun divided by moon cycles, Libra's house, which is the 7th house with a Leo moon there, gives us an Aquarius rising chart. This is Sneha's birth chart energy. She is an Aquarius rising. This is an 11th house chart. The 11th house is the house of friends, groups, organizations, fraternities, sororities, okay, agencies, memberships, subscriptions, the community, humanity, okay? That is what Aquarius is all about. All walks of life, all religions, all races, all cultures under one umbrella. That's Aquarius energy. It is the energy of the rainbow. The healthy rainbow is the rainbow of everything I just described. I'm not talking about the gay flag rainbow, and nothing against gay people, but that is not what the rainbow represents originally. The rainbow represents the picture of humanity, all races, all religions, all walks of life, everything, everybody, the human race. And it also represents all of our chakras. When all of our chakras are aligned, then everybody will understand how human they are. And that's like a utopian world. That's the ideal world, the rainbow. But that's Aquarius energy. Now, Sneha is a Libra, and her moon is in Leo. So in her chart, she's in the 9th house. The 9th house is the house of foreigners, foreign affairs, especially because Libra represents partnership and marriage. So the 9th house represents foreign affairs, okay, immigration issues, legal issues involving immigration, okay. The 9th house is also long distance travel, flight travel, airports, uh, mountains, valleys, hiking. This is Sagittarius's house. Okay, now Sagittarius is in the 11th house. So most of her friends were also foreigners, and most of her relationships were with foreigners as well. Foreign people who are foreign to America or foreign to her race. And she was a foreigner in America. So she went through a lot of foreign affairs, foreign issues. Now, her moon in Leo is in the house of relationships. That's Libra's house. So she definitely had a lot of relationships because she was the type of Libra that built relationships, playful relationships at that, because Leo is here. Leo is about playful love affairs. It's not about the obligated marital love affairs like Libra. However, the playful love affair energy is in Libra's house, the house of obligated marital affairs. So when Leo is in the seventh house in a person's chart who is a Libra, this can be signs of infidelity in the negative. Now, I also pulled the alignment, not the total alignment. I just wanted to see where the sun was when the Twin Towers came into existence, because that's going to help me connect some dots too with locating the World Trade Center energy in this reading. So I wrote it down. The Twin Towers was in Aries. It came into existence April 4th, 1973. That is Aries season. So the Twin Towers is Aries energy. Where's Aries energy at in Sneha's birth chart? It's in the third house of the local environment. She only stayed a couple of blocks away from the World Trade Center. Okay? So this is Gemini's house. Now the moon was in Gemini the day she disappeared. The moon was also still in Gemini the day 9/11 got, the day that the Twin Towers got destroyed, because 9/11 is the day. It's not the Twin Towers. This is the Twin Towers. And it got destroyed while the moon was in Gemini. So, does that mean that she was killed in the 9/11? No, we're just connecting dots. We don't know yet. Now let's pull the chart of the day that she disappeared and let's see what comes first in that chart. Now, the day she disappeared, the sun was in Virgo and the moon was in Gemini. And when the Gemini moon is in Virgo's house, which is the sixth house, Capricorn is rising. This is the public authority energy. This is law enforcement. This is court. The 10th house is Capricorn's house. That's why this is a 10th house chart, because Capricorn comes first. The 10th house is about courts, judges, law enforcement, public authority figures, the government, legal issues, the father figure, the boss, manager. So, look where Sneha, she's a Libra. Look where she's at the day she disappeared, in the 10th house. Court. She had a court case. So, the energy of this entire court case plays a role in her disappearance and her possible death. Speaking of whether she might be dead or not, let's go over to the house of death, which is the 8th house. Look what you see. Leo. Remember, we saw Leo in Sneha's birth chart. The playful love affairs in the house of marriage. Infidelity. Could she have been met with foul play? Infidelity. She is in the 10th house. Could this be somebody that also showed up in court with her? I took some notes. I talked about Capricorn coming first and the fact that this was legal issues, court case energy, law enforcement, the father figure. Now, all of this energy, Capricorn in the first house, where was it at? Where was Capricorn the day Sneha was born in her birth chart? It's in the 12th house. It's hiding. So something was being hidden. This was all everything that was going on that involved these legal issues was all hiding in Sneha's energy. It had the ability to hide because all of Sneha's Capricorn affairs took place behind her back. The 12th house. This is Pisces' house. So wherever Pisces is located, that will determine what these affairs was about. Look where Pisces is at, in the second house of money. That's Taurus's house. This was about, and Pisces is the energy of loss. In a situation when it comes to money, and she showed up in court, this is financial loss. Capricorn in the 12th house also represents the loss of position, demotion. The power, Scorpio power. The power in Capricorn's house was operating behind the throne. And this power behind the throne came first. That's what's rising the day that she disappeared. Isn't that something how she disappeared September 10th? And this is a 10th house chart. And then we feel like she lost her life during September 11th. And look at the 11th house chart. That doesn't have anything to do with this case, but that's just a sign. So the fact that her sun was in Leo and her sun was in Libra and her moon was in Leo, she had a sexual affair. See, right here, she was set up for infidelity. She had the power of infidelity right here in the negative. So this is where it met with foul play. Because anything in the 10th house succeeds. Whether it's life or death, it's going to succeed. Because the 10th house is the house of success. So this relationship, because Libra is also the energy of relationship, but it's also the energy that governs Sneha at birth. This is her sun sign. This relationship, this playful love affair, moved into the 8th house the day she went missing. The 8th house is the house of death. So if she's gone, it has a lot to do with this playful love affair that was set up, that was orchestrated by her and the other person. This is the energy that would govern her death that day. Now the sun rules Leo. Her sun was right here in Libra. The sun, September 10th, 2001, the September 10th sun was in Virgo, which is right here in the 9th house. That is the house that Sneha was born in, the 9th house. And she was a doctor. And Virgo is doctor energy. So this could be a person that's also a doctor. Now her husband, Ron Lieberman, is a doctor. Could it be her husband? Let's follow Mercury, because Mercury rules Virgo. Let's follow this doctor energy. Mercury is in Libra, the relationship. And the 10th house is also the house of husbands when Libra is there. When we're talking about a woman, Libra represents her husband because this is the father's house. Okay? This is also the husband's house when we're speaking of a woman with Libra in the 10th house. If we were talking about a man, this would be his wife. Sneha's Pluto. Pluto is the energy that rules Scorpio. Pluto is the energy of death. That is the planet that governs transition. How we go from one stage to the next. Whether it's the life stage into losing the body and going into the spirit. Whether it's the transition from one chapter of your life to the next. turning your life around. However your transitions are, it will, the nature of your transitions will always show up in the sign that your Pluto is in. Sneha's Pluto is in Virgo. And in her birth chart, look where Virgo is, in the house of death. So we have two signs that let us know the nature of her death. The playful love affair that led to foul play in the house of death, and the doctor energy in the house of death. Both Mercury was in Libra, her husband. It was in Libra the day she was born, and it was in Libra the day she disappeared. Leo rules the sun. So if you want to elaborate on her death, follow Leo, follow the sun. The sun was in Virgo. This was another doctor. If it wasn't her husband, then this was another doctor she was fucking around with. Somebody she was in a love affair with. That's why she went shopping. And when she went shopping for like 3 pairs of shoes. She went shopping for pantyhose and lingerie. You go shopping for lingerie, pantyhose, 3 pairs of shoes, and you never come home. Where did you go? And who was you with? Who? Because she's not alone. Who was you with? Sneha and Philip. Who was in the picture the day you disappeared? Who was with Sneha and Philip? Born October 7th, 1969, when she disappeared September 10th, 2001. That card just came out. It dropped out of nowhere. She was with a friend. That card dropped out of nowhere. She was with a friend in the first house. Yep, this is somebody in a position of authority. She was with a friend. She was with a friend. Now, where was Saturn? Saturn rules Capricorn. Let's follow Saturn to elaborate on this friend. Saturn, the day she disappeared, was in Gemini, which is travel. Gemini is over here in the house of work. So this is a friend that she worked with. This was a friend from her job. The job she probably got fired from. This was a friend. Look at that energy, don't lie. Saturn was right here in Gemini. This friend that she was traveling with at work. The 6th house is Virgo's house, the house of work, employment, the workforce. And Gemini is there. And the friend that she was with in the first house. Now, where's this friend? Gemini rules Mercury just like Virgo rules Mercury. Mercury rules the informative travel aspect of Gemini and the interactive aspect. And it rules the practical work-oriented aspect of Virgo. Where was Mercury? Let's follow where they were going and who this friend from work was. Mercury was in Libra. Both when she was born and when she disappeared. Now, Venus rules Libra. So let's see who this relationship partner was. If it wasn't her husband, let's find out who it was. Venus was in Leo the day she disappeared. Leo is right here. The person responsible for her death. The person she was playing around with. You can't make this up. Sneha's Venus is in Virgo right here. Where's this world trade energy? The day she disappeared, it's in the fourth house. That's the house of home and family. And the Twin Towers was at home in America, you know, and this is a government chart. This is a government chart. Okay? So let's follow Mars. Because now we're going to follow the World Trade Center and see if it leads us to Sneha's energy. Mars that day was in Capricorn. Right here. Comes first. Could this friend that also comes first be linked with the World Trade Center? Could they have worked at the World Trade Center? Now Sneha, with her mother, confirmed that they had a phone conversation, and Sneha was telling her mother, because her mother was just speaking to her days before she went missing. Her mother went out to dinner with her. They had lunch together. They hung out like 2 days before Sneha went missing. Her mother was like, she told me she was going to be attending a dinner party at the World Trade Center. That's what her mother said. Was she at the World Trade Center that day with this friend? And now they're both gone? Can't make this up. You cannot make this up. What happened to Sneha Ann Phillips? What happened to Sneha Ann Phillips the day she disappeared, September 10th, 2001? We know she wasn't by herself. She was with a friend. What happened to Sneha Ann Phillips, born October 7th, 1969, who disappeared September 10th, 2001? What happened to Sneha Ann Phillips? Let's follow what happened. Self. Did she commit suicide? Why did the self card come out? This is a first house card. This is an Aries card. Aries is also the Twin Towers energy. Aries rules the first house. Make sure y'all are utilizing my tutorial in the link below, so you don't think I'm up here talking shit. Aries rules the first house, but Capricorn is there, which is this friend, okay? But Aries also rules the self, and the first house rules the self. Did she commit suicide? Why did the self card come out? I heard that on the podcasts, on numerous podcasts that I've watched, that she may have committed suicide. I heard that. What happened to Sneha Ann Phillip? Look at that. Look the fuck at that. Aries. And all dots connect to the first house. I think she committed suicide. You can't make this. I'm shuffling the hell out this deck. And nothing but first house, Aries energy, self, the first house friend. Can't make this up. Can't make this up. If she wasn't caught up in 9/11, she committed suicide. Mars was in Capricorn, both the day she was born and the day she disappeared. Saturn is the only other planet we can follow to elaborate on this Capricorn friend. And like I told you, Saturn led us to the friend at work, co-worker, and look where Saturn is at in her birth chart energy, in Leo's house, the fifth house. And Leo is right there in a relationship, the person she was in a playful relationship with. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Mercury, that rules Gemini, is right there in Virgo. The power that assisted her in her death. Did she kill herself through medication? Because that's also what Virgo could mean in the eighth house as well. This is the doctor. This is the medical energy. And when it's in the eighth house, this is a death. This is a medically induced death. Somebody that died of a sickness or medically induced medication overdose. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. But that is my reading on Sneha and Philip. It don't get no more clearer than that. Everything points to the first house, the house of self.